This is a non-spoiler review for Masters of the Universe. That's right, He-Man finally having a live-action version since 1987. Dolph Lundgren. Well, He-Man is back. Eternia gets a light shown on it a little bit more than it did in that 87 version. And Travis Knight from Bumblebee and Kubo, the two strings, directs this one. You've also got Nicholas Galitzine playing Adam, a.k.a. He-Man. Camila Mendes playing Tila. Idris Elba, Man-at-Arms. And quite a list. Jared Leto, of course, is Skeletor. So, if you're brand new to this channel, and I said this in my Out of the Theater reaction, I have a personal connection to this movie. Not only was I a Masters of the Universe fan growing up as a kid, when I worked at Warner Brothers and Silver Pictures, over just about 20 years ago. I was working on a project, and we got it picked up by Warner Brothers for Masters of the Universe, and we were going to turn it into a feature film. Now, that idea was a little bit more of the Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars, take it a little bit more seriously type of thing. It was always my vision, and people said, you can't go into that thinking that because that's not what this is, and that's true. So I was very excited to see this movie because of Travis Knight. Travis Knight is a fan of the property, and that was always the thing. You couldn't just get a hired gun. You had to get somebody who really understood the property, understood what it was. And the approach in this one was going to be more so, a little more tongue-in-cheek, going off of that 80s vibe. So again, it's a non-spoiler review, but essentially, if you look at the trailers, Eternia was flourishing, and Adam, the prince, was, trying to get in favor with his dad and show him that he was that he could be who his dad wanted him to be. And as the story unfolds, and Skeletor and his just henchmen and everybody else come in and they attack Eternia. So Adam's got to go to Earth to get away, and while he's on Earth, he's got to protect the sword. But again, it's all in the trailer. He's got to find the sword. He doesn't know where the sword is, and then once he does, he's got to go back to Eternia to battle Skeletor. And that's really all you need to know about the plot of the movie. So, as I said, the things that really worked for me, if you saw the Out of the Theater reaction, the Eternia stuff is excellent. It was always the thing that I wanted to see more of in that 87 version. It was the thing that I always wanted to see in live action, of how they were going to bring Eternia to life. And they do it through big, bright colors and the different creatures and how it just blends together, and how this world looks. It looks magical. It looks like a kingdom. It looks like when Adam describes it, it's all there, and it's epic. And Travis Knight does a good job bringing that aspect to life. The fights, for PG-13, and for what the tone is, the fights could have gone a bit goofy. They don't. They go pretty hardcore. There's a couple different times when Adam is He-Man, that the battles and there's one particular thing, and again, not going into it, but where you're like, okay, He-Man's got to seem strong. He-Man's got to see like he can kick some ass, and he does. And they do that quite often. The other things, the nostalgia aspect of, oh, there's so-and-so, there's this, there's that. They give you that, and it feels like you're playing with the toys. There's the relationship with, well, first of all, Skeletor looks phenomenal. Skeletor, Jared Leto, I think, is excellent. I know people have a problem with Jared Leto sometimes, maybe outside of acting and everything too. He's excellent as Skeletor. He to me, he knew the assignment of what Skeletor was, and Skeletor was always kind of cracking jokes and other things, and that's in there, and they make that work for what he is. So they did that very well. The music is done extraordinarily well. The second half of this movie shines. They get a grasp on what it is, what the character is, the idea of Adam grasping who he is, who he needs to be, and then once they really pick up into, again, these battles, the idea of destiny and all that is strong in the second half. It's weird, the movie, right? That's not a that's not a slight into the negative. I like the fact that they took some chances and they went for some other. You may have to make it a little strange, and it is strange. It's different, and I like that part of it, and that all works again, more so in the second half of the movie. The first half of the movie is where the movie really has issues, and for some of the second, but not as much. My concern with this movie was going to be the jokes. Not that they were going to have jokes, because like I said in the beginning of this, different take. They're going more of the Guardians of the Galaxy idea. The problem is this movie destroys tension with jokes too often. They don't give you enough time in between trying to set up the characters before they hit you with another joke. So right as you're getting into a serious moment, here comes a joke, I'm out of the moment. It doesn't allow you to really grasp, okay, that's who this is. Oh, it's a joke. They have a joke. He's got a joke. She's got a joke. Joke, 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 joke. And it's just like, and the other problem is that was an issue I had with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 initially, was that everybody had a joke, right? But what I always said about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was that the jokes landed a lot of times. For me, a lot of the jokes, especially in the first half, do not land and are unnecessary. And I get that you need to set up Adam as this kind of goofy, what's going on? But they do it so often, and they do it because eventually once he turns into He-Man, you've got to say, oh, well, now he's transitioned. He's gone from there to now there he is. But they beat you over the head with it. I don't necessarily love the storyline they take with Idris Elba's amazing, by the way, in the movie. But I don't like the storyline that they go with him. That's going to be subjective. And that's another thing that I had a particular issue with that most people might not have an issue with because they're not as invested in the lore as I am. They changed up quite a lot of things with the lore that I'll go into more so on spoilers, that I was like, oh, I wish they would have really done that. They could have done that. But then I said to myself, but that's not fair, though. Let's watch what this version is. And that doesn't really go into my criticisms of the movie. That's just me going, oh, I wish they would have done that and not change that up, but didn't necessarily affect the movie itself. It's just that the beginning of the movie, I'm like, okay, I'm locked into this. I see what they're going with. I can embrace this tone. It's like the toys kind of come to life. I got it. And then these jokes start to come in, and they spend too much time on Earth, and that was what I was definitely worried about. The stuff on Earth, I'm like, let's go. We don't need it. You could have put him on. You could have put him in a cave outside on the other side of Eternia. You didn't have to go to Earth. There was no reason to go to Earth. I disliked the Earth stuff very much, and it's like the jokes that are being cracked, like the stuff, the roommate stuff. I'm like, let's go, move. And then this is what it do, and this is the good aspect of the movie is that as I'm going, oh, more jokes, then they do something else. I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm cool. I'm locked in. This is amazing. Great. And then a joke. I'm like, oh. And I thought it was never going to stop. And then, as I said, from the second half, there's still jokes. They level it out a lot more. And it's not about just having the jokes. Like I said, it's about cutting the tension and not allowing your story to marinate, not letting your characters marinate enough, because the essence and everything else is there. The story is there. I'm in it. And even a couple of times with Skeletor where they have these moments and he'll crack a joke and he'll say something funny, and then they play this kind of moment for the joke. And you're like, he didn't need that. Skeletor's funny on his own. Just with some of the things that he's saying. He used to say stupid things. Come on, beast brain. And things that he would say. And they do some homages to the original. There's a particular thing at the end that they do that plays into it really well. It's just sometimes it was just a little bit more of like a really look into the camera and go, hey, we're making a movie. And I'm like, Urgh. And then there's other times that these fights, I'm like, that's awesome. And then when he turns into He-Man and he has the big moments, you're like, okay, let's go. And there's a couple things with that in the mythology that I have questions about and wondering why they went that direction. But as a casual viewer who's never seen He-Man or never really paid attention to it, it's not going to really affect you. But this movie is going to rely on whether or not these jokes hit for you. And if this was your kind of first introduction to He-Man and Masters of the Universe, and you go in with this, and you're like, oh, I dug the jokes. I think they were funny. I like that tone. You might really wind up loving this movie. I just saw so much of what he did, Travis Knight, in this movie with Eternia and other things. I'm like, ooh, there's this movie that's in there. I wish they would have just focused on this, even with the tone they were going for. If they would have just focused on this, throw a couple jokes in here and there, similar, like, if people are going to ask me, is this more Love and Thunder or more Ragnarok? It's definitely not Love and Thunder. It's definitely not Love and Thunder. I had heard that from somebody, and I don't think it's not Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder just didn't take itself seriously at all. And I can see the comparisons where there's a joke a mile a minute. I definitely wouldn't call it Ragnarok either. It's somewhere in between, maybe. But it really depends. And the difference between that is that Thor had been set up in Thor 1 and Thor 2, and even in Infinity War and everything too, that there could be more serious moments. And by the time you got to that movie, he was so far away from what they'd ever done with him. So this is the first introduction live action of the character. So it won't be as jarring for people. But I could have loved this version of this movie, with maybe if they would have cut out 60% of these jokes, just leaving 40% of those jokes, and it would have been. I probably would have loved this movie if they would have focused a little bit more and marinated on the characters and the storyline just a little bit more. But I liked it. I thought it was. I thought it was. It was a good interpretation, and I think there'll be a lot of people who really dig it. I'll go fresh with it. I'll go 3.2 out of 5 for the movie overall. Maybe even 3.3. Enjoyable time to watch. Maybe, yeah, 3.3. People are going to ask me, did you enjoy watching this or Mandalorian and Grogu in the theater? This had story. This had character development. This had a message and what they wanted to do and an overall theme. This to me is a better movie. Especially for a new kind of space adventure. So that's what I got for you. It's Masters of the Universe. So put your thoughts in there. Let me know you're going to see this. You're going to check it out. Thanks for being here. Make sure you click like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to get to 300,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I believe we can do it. Just got to hit that button. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. See you soon. Summer's coming around. I like taking long walks with the family. There's a lot going on with camps with my family. Tons of stuff. We try to stay active during the summer, especially. So whether you are on the go, staying hydrated, it really is a key to enjoying all the extra sunshine. That's where Liquid IV comes in, man. I always have a packet for me. I have a packet for me when I go to the gym. And especially when we did this big barbecue the other day. Did that. It was getting hot outside. It's just amazing. I like the cotton candy side of it. I like the orange vanilla dream. And it's just refreshing. I really dig it. So just one stick, 16 ounces of water, hydrates faster than water alone. It's got an optimized ratio of electrolytes. It's got essential vitamins and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. Now, when you compare it to water, Liquid IV delivers long-lasting hydration, and it retains hydration for up to 4 hours. That's the thing I love about it the most. It's also great because it's backed by a scientific advisory board with world-renowned researchers to conduct clinical research and trials. Got 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So if you want to stay hydrated while you're on the go this summer, do it with Liquid IV. You just tear it, you pour it, you live more. You go to liquidiv.com and you get 20% off your first purchase when you use that code Kristian at checkout. That's 20% off your first purchase with Kristian at liquidiv.com. I've been talking about them forever. Give it a shot. You will enjoy it. You will feel better. Liquid IV. It's the bomb.